Hello gamers, Carlim00 here again with another video. Today's video is to match the last couple of videos where we've been discussing decks and what are the best decks to play in the different pools. This video is about how to play the game generally. The tips that I incorporated to my own gameplay to allow myself to get to Infinite. Okay, so starting off just a bit about me and myself with Marvel Snap. I started kind of halfway through last season, the October season, and I was stuck for a long time at rank 50, okay? I was stuck to the point where I nearly quit the game because I was getting so frustrated. I was at 50 to 53 for a few days, going up and down equal amounts, and I was wondering what's going on. I eventually broke through that with the tips that I'm going to show you today and explain to you exactly what happened, but this is just to show you these are the card backs. This is this season. Is Infinite card back, and this is the Venom card back from last season, and right now we're sitting at 110, right? So Infinite this season started off at 70, got to back to 100 in Infinite in about 3 days. Okay, so how I did that is when I first started playing the game, I looked at it as any other card game, okay, like a Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh, right? And I tried to play it like that, win every angle that I could. And that obviously wasn't working very well. Then I looked online and was just like trying to look at information of what's going wrong here, trying to establish why I'm not able to, gain any more rank. And I came across this comment, I've talked about this before, but it's very, very key to this video, is that there was a person who said, look at these stats. They pulled up a stats of all the top players and looked at the numbers of when they were retreating, when they were, snapping. And they came to the conclusion that Snap is more like poker than a traditional TCG or a CCG. And I just sat there for a minute, thought about that, and realized, if that's correct, then let me start incorporating it, because I played a bit of poker in the past. And as soon as I started doing that, I started to see large improvements to my rank. Like I went from like 50 to 70 in 1 day. Okay, so what does that mean? What do I mean by play the game like poker instead of a traditional TCG? Well, let me. I've constructed a little notepad just to show you and break it down really. So I broke it down into 5 top tips. So the first one is snapping earlier. So what that means is a lot of people, including myself, I was playing the game very safely. I would only snap after I've kind of guaranteed the win. But you've got to take a little bit of risk and you've got to hide your win condition from your opponent. So instead of, like, for example, let's say you're playing Kazoo and you're turn 6, you're playing Kazazoo and you've got everything down, you're beating the opponent huge amounts, but like 30-40 power, you snap, you're like, I've got this in the power. They're going to run, right? Any respectable opponent is going to run. So for example, I've got a few examples here. Let's say you're playing combo decks. You're playing Tiger Odin or Dino Moongale. Now, let's say you're turn 3. Okay, you're turn 3 and your hand reads something like Ironheart, Odin, Tiger. And you've got nothing on the board and locations are fine. You just got locations you can play that combo. You snap there and then. Instead of like halfway through the combo or after combo, snap then. Now there's a bit of risk there. Maybe they got a better combo, or maybe maybe the locations don't work out too well for you. But what would happen is you've got you're favored to win. That's what your deck does, right? If you're not going to snap then, when your deck is favored to win and you've drawn your combo, then when are you going to snap, right? So you snap then, and hopefully that turns into a 2-4-8 cube. You also invest your opponent into the game. If they've got a bad hand, but they've just gone along for the ride, and you've got your combo, you can drag them into deep water, right? So that's what I mean by snap early instead of snapping when you've got a guaranteed win condition, okay? Snap when you feel like you're favored. That's the element of the odds, right? And then counter cards, like for example, Killmonger and Shang-Chi. If you're in pool 2, you've got Killmonger, your opponent plays a bunch of 1s, and you've got Killmonger come up, you snap. Okay, you snap. You've got a massive play coming, you snap. You don't snap after Killmonger, because if you snap after Killmonger, they're going to run. Okay, they're going to run. So you do it beforehand, hit them with a Killmonger, they're in deep water now, and yeah, that's what I mean. Snap earlier is definitely going to secure some more cubes. So moving on to the next tip for me is retreat more often. This is one that really allowed me to improve my game, to kind of take it to the next level. Is I was so invested in, like, if I had snapped, I would stay into the very end. I was so invested in when I had snapped or when there was cubes on the line, more than one, that I just wouldn't retreat. Even when there was one cube, I wouldn't retreat. But if you see, guys, like, for example, if you're waiting on a card to draw, and they snap, you know if they're snapping, they've most likely got their combo ready. So if you come in for the ride, when you're waiting to draw a card from your deck, you're already at a heavy disadvantage. Just go. Just leave with one cube. It's one of the best things about this game, is that by leaving and retreating from a game and losing one cube, it's very easy to get back. There's not much cost to it. And when coming back to the poker analogy, in poker, like, you don't play most of your hands. Like, you know, even if you're even if you're the best poker player in the world, you're a professional player, you're at table at 6, right? You don't play all your hands. You don't play all your hands. You just play your good favored hands. You don't sit there and play every single hand. That's how you lose money, right? So it's the same kind of principle. Don't play every hand that you're given. Only play the ones that you're favored. You know, if they force you out, if they snap, just leave. And also, like, for example, if you snap and they counterplay you, let's say you're playing, you know, something that requires on reveals, and they play Cosmo, and you're already 2 cubes up, and they want you to keep going, or they snap you. You've got to get into the mindset, I'm going to leave. It's 2 cubes, okay, unfortunate, but they're going to win, right? You got to get out of there. You got to get into the mentality of, I'm going to retreat whenever I know that I'm going to lose. So that goes with not just when you're on 1 cube, but if you snapped and they've got a counterplay to you and you know you can't get past that, you just got to go. It's hard to do, but with a bit of practice, you can get it going. And the mentality behind this is, as right here, cheap versus 4 8 cubes. If you're running for 1 cube 3 times and you win an 8 cube or you win a 4 cube, you're up, right? You're in profit. Let's say you win 3 4 cubes, but you retreat 10 times, but you win 4 cubes 3 times. That's profit. You know, you're in the net positive. So that's the idea. And if you look at some of the top players, like on some of the websites, they've got a couple of leaderboards, you know, and on the leaderboards, you will see that some of those people have Infinity rank 150, 37% win rate, 40% win rate. You don't have to win every game, guys. You've got to get into mindset. You don't have to win. Win rate is not relevant. You can have a 37% win rate and be infinite 150, okay? 40%, 45%. A lot of them are under 50. Some of them are above. But it shows that there is a good thinking to this, okay? That retreating more often is, trust me, retreat more often. Most of the time, people are stuck on their rank. These are two of the most important things. Why? You know, most players that if they're like, oh, I'm stuck at 50 or I'm stuck at 60, 70, 80. Most of the time, it's going to be because of snapping and snapping thought and snapping mechanics, and when you're snapping and when you're retreating and snapping. Once you get that down to to a T, you will start to climb. That's just how it works, right? The third is meta decks. Okay, so this is a good one. See what other gamers are playing. See what the meta decks are. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go and copy the deck like a net deck. You have to just go copy it one for one. You can if you want to. But what I mean is you go there and you see what's going on. What's the archetypes? What archetypes people are playing? What's good right now? A good example is my Wong, right? When I went to Wong, as soon as I got Wong, I went over to the site, which we'll go over in a minute, Snap Fan Decks. Looked at what people were playing with Wong, and I looked at a deck, took the deck, edited the deck so I could put my tech options in. I liked Morph at the time, for example. No one was playing Morph. Well, this deck certainly wasn't playing Morph. So I put Morph in, put my own spin on it. But it gives me a good base to start with, right? So just showing you what I mean by this, because there's a person today, and this is a real one that hits home today, because when I was streaming today, a fella came in and said they were having problems. They're frustrated at the game. They were frustrated they couldn't climb. And the deck that they showed me was a deck they just tried to put together with pull 3 because it was a pile, it didn't really work together. And I said, look at this site. And they said, I wasn't even aware of this site. And I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it, because obviously I've been using the site so much. It just didn't enter my head that people didn't know about the site. So this is the site I'm talking about. So this is, I'll put this in the description, guys. Snap Fan Decks. Look at this. It's a fantastic site. So you've got the decks here, and it just, you know, on the home page of the decks, it comes up with a bunch of different decks that people are using. You can all types of different filters and tags. I mean, exclude cards. So it's fantastic. So let's say, for example, you're in pool 2 and you want to play Dino, right? You want to play Dino Destroy. So I put like Dino Destroy, right? Dino Destroy. And there you go. Straight away, decks coming up. How many views? How many comments? When it was created. The cost of the deck. If you want it more expensive, you want it more powerful. You know, for example, Dino Destroy, one of the strongest pool 2 decks. There you go, right? It's just there. You can just copy that. You can copy the code, put that straight into your Marvel Snap in the deck builder. But let's say, for example, you're playing Dino Destroy, but you don't have Killmonger yet. Okay, oh, I haven't got Killmonger, that's unfortunate. And you go through and this has Killmonger, this has Killmonger. Well, then you can just go to exclude cards and you can type in Killmonger and it will show you all the decks here that aren't using Killmonger. Obviously not too many because Killmonger is very important to Die Destroy. But there you go. Look, there's a couple of decks here that you can get a bit of inspiration for. Also, you can select by pool. You want to play pool 3, pool 2. The different archetypes already there. So definitely use this site, guys. If you think your deck's struggling, if you're struggling for deck ideas, use this site. I've used it very often. Looking through decks, looking for deck ideas for videos, looking to climb. It's just a good resource to use. It's there to be used, right? So you want to use that. The other resource that I use quite often is the Discord, the official Discord. Put this in the description as well, just to show you how that works. So if you don't use Discord, then I recommend you do, because there's a lot of good resources in there. If you do, then this is it right here. The Marvel Snap official Discord, right? And if you come down, you start up here. If you scroll down here, you got your deck building. People are posting in here all the time. Different ideas, different advices. I just kind of keep a little side eye on this, see what's going on, if anyone's discovered anything revolutionary. Deck directory, which is like mini threads for different decks. This person is playing a little discard with Lady Sif. Couple of comments. So just use this, guys. If you think your deck's struggling or you're struggling to ideas, let's say you just enter pool 3. Okay, because the way pool 3 works is you get offered a few cards, and you get offered a few cards, and you got to kind of take those pieces and make the best deck you possibly can, right? You don't have an archetype at that point. So as soon as I got the pool 3, that's why I did my Wong. I went straight over to the site, put in Wong, see what people were doing. So I recommend people do this, and this is the resource that I used. Today on the stream, we had a guy come in saying, what do I do with my pool 3 cards? Listed a bunch of cards. We made a fantastic discard deck for them, and spent the rest of the time in the stream talking about it and saying they couldn't believe the results of the deck. So definitely use these sites, guys. Definitely use these sites if you're struggling for decks. Okay, so that's another top tip that I say for ranking up. Definitely look what other people are playing, okay, and get some inspiration from that and play around that. Now, my fourth tip is scout opponents, okay? This is what I did for the last Infinite run. And what do I mean by scout opponents? Okay, guys, so the way this game works, you often find yourself playing against the same people. I'm not too sure why that is, but if you've played enough, you'll start to see the same names. So what did I start doing, guys? Because I was playing Wong. Wong is a very countable deck, okay? There's a few cards in pool 3, stuff like Magneto, Cosmo, Arrow, that completely ruins the combo. I have like nearly 0% chance to win against these pieces, right? And it was costing me cubes, because I obviously snap going into the combo. They have Cosmo, I lose 2 cubes, I lose 4 cubes, whatever it is. So this is what I started doing, guys. You don't have to do this, but I'm telling you, it'll help you climb. I have a document right here of my opponents that I faced and what cards they played against me that I thought was a threat to my deck, okay? There's a few things to make note here, okay? Number one, don't use this as gospel, and it's only as useful as how young it is. And what I mean by that, this was made a long time ago, because I'm Infinite now. I haven't been doing it recently. I did it at the beginning of my climb. This is about a week old, somewhere about a week old. Most of this information won't be relevant. The reason why that is because what I found out is that people change decks quite often. And especially because I was 80 very early into the season. I was playing against some very high collection players, right? They had full collections, so they were changing their deck quite often. And also people that, even if they have full collections, this card acquisition, they get new cards and they change their decks for that. So it's only really good for a day or two. But I will tell you something, I still play these people today. For example, I streamed today for 3.5 hours, okay? And we played the Odinson. Just looking at names, I play Bozzy nearly every single day, guys, since I've made this document. Ice-Trap I say a lot. Dexter I say a lot. Sea-Wits-tastic I saw today 3 times. So you tend to play the same players. I don't know the reason for that. There's a lot of theories out there why that is. But from my collection level being 700 and rank 70 this season to being 100 and rank 110, 112, whatever I kind of sit at, and 987 collection level, I play the same people all the time, guys. Airy. Is Airy on here? Airy's not on here, but I play Airy all the time. Airy comes into the stream. I've been playing Airy all the time as well. So, but this is fantastic, guys. This really helped me climb, because I put Cosmo, and like, look how many Cosmos you see. You see how many Cosmos there is here, guys? Goose, Cosmo, Professor X is a big one. Doctor Doom, C Marvel, anything that I thought was very impactful for the player to play against me, or like archetype Dino Destroy. So this is what I recommend if you really want to rank up and get those resources and you want to edge on your opponent. make a little Word document, just make a name, put their name and their cards. As I said though, this needs to be kept up to date. It's quite hard work, or just use it for a day or two and refresh it, maybe close the notepad. I just used it for a few days. I found out that sometimes information was incorrect, but largely it was quite correct, guys. It did save me a lot of cubes when retreating. Again, not necessary. If you think it's too hard for you, that's fair enough. But I guarantee you this will get you cubes. Okay, so that's my 4th tip. This is what I used to get infinite. And then finally, my fifth tip, guys, might be the most important tip of them all, honestly, because you don't really notice this. I'm very competitive, okay, guys. I do get tilted. And it's very hard to know if you're tilted. Like, it's very easy for you to tell if someone else is tilted, but if you're tilted yourself, because it completely alters your mind state, it's quite difficult to notice. But when we were talking about it one time, I had a bad beat, guys. And what I mean by a bad beat is like it's a close. Either you get kind of scuffed on luck, or like you lose like 8 Qs by like 2 power on a location. That's a bad beat, right? It's tilting. And what I noticed that when I was tilted on this game, guys, is that basically I was snapping more often and more recklessly. I was not retreating, I was snapping too much. And I was just, one time I had to end stream, guys, I was just losing so many cubes. So what I recommend, guys, if you take a bad beat, or you feel like you're getting a bit frustrated with the game, or you just feeling a little bit tilted, a little bit, you know, upset or whatever, just take a break. I know this game, guys, I know this game is very addictive. We all know how addictive and fun this game is, and you want to play and you want to keep playing. But just take a little break, take a little 5-10 minutes out, maybe get a cup of tea, cup of coffee, drink of water, take a little walk 10 minutes to get away from the screen, and just, you know, take your mind easy and come back. And I guarantee you that will save you cubes and gain you cubes, okay? So I truly believe, guys, just going over again, the 5 tips: snap earlier, retreat more often, see what other people are playing and meta decks, and see with your collection how that lines up. Scout your opponents on the Word document and take a break if tilted. I guarantee you that if you follow these 5 tips, and I don't care what your collection looks like, if you're in pool 3 with not enough cards, you will get infinite. You will get those rewards if you follow these tips to a gospel. And I hear a lot of people like saying, oh, when you get into pool 3, if you don't get good cards, you're gonna get owned. No, that's not how it works, guys. Like, I can climb in pool 3 where I am right now, pool 3 1000 CL, infinite 650, playing against like full collection players, and I can still climb because I can still climb with pool 2, pool 1 decks. Like, I was thinking about this and I was discussing on stream today. I might, if everything is the same as it was this season, and there's no like changes to leaderboard or anything, or any like major game changes, next season when we get reset to 70 as infinite players, I might go from 70 to 100 playing pool 1. You can see it in the other video, in the pool 1 video that I did with Kazar. That Kazoo deck is serious business, guys. It can still work at pool 3, and I know I can get infinite with it. So I might do that just to make a video. I think it would be a good video, and just to prove a point that you don't need to clutch big cards to climb. If you've got if you gain a solid knowledge of how people's decks work, and the kind of snap points, the retreat points, the counters, and what works, what doesn't work, you can climb. That's just how the game works. With the cube system and the snapping, there's a lot of skill expression there, guys. And I think you don't need a super deck to climb. If you've got a decent, coherent deck and you're snapping correctly and following the tips that I've given here, I think you definitely climb. So let me know how this video was, guys. Let me know if anyone implements these tips and gets results. Please let me know. And if you've got any questions, also do let me know. I am streaming daily, 4 to 8 hours right now on the Twitch, which I leave in the description if you want to come in and talk to me live. If not, leave me a comment on YouTube. And if you're enjoying the content, guys, I know some of you have watched a few of the videos now. Please, if you haven't, drop a subscribe. It helps the channel so much. Drop a like. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thank you very much.